This one technique is the missing link between flat hitting and full topspin, and skipping it is why your loop never feels natural. Alright, in this lesson I'm going to teach you how to add spin within a rally context. This is the foundation of the quick drive. The key is learning how to meet the incoming ball and add rotation. This is the critical first step in adding friction. Many players jump directly from flat rallying to full loops, and that's actually a significant mistake. You need a progressive approach. The quick drive is the bridge to everything that comes later. Mastering it requires very precise training and a clear training direction. What's the feeling we're after? In a regular rally, you simply drive the ball over like this. For the quick drive within the same framework, you just slightly, watch closely, open the forearm a little. Now how you open the forearm matters a lot. Some players, when told to use the forearm, lift it upward like a crane from low to high. That's wrong. Let me show you. Moving from bottom to top like this means the framework we built before is completely disconnected. Every stage links together. That's why we spent so long building a proper framework in stages 1 and 2. So how should the forearm move? Say I'm facing the table squarely. Feel your forearm. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Your forearm opens toward that wall behind your back. Visually, it looks like the forearm barely moves, but that's exactly its natural function. It can only open backward. Remember, don't move it downward, don't move it outward. Just feel the forearm slightly opening backward. That's enough. Now for the quick drive, you might ask whether you need to add more wrist and fingers. Yes, but we're not wildly expanding the motion, flipping the wrist, or exaggerating the finger grip. As the forearm opens backward, the wrist follows along. It opens slightly together with the forearm. See this angle, it opens as I rotate. The wrist never opens independently or disconnects from the chain. This sequence is critical. The wrist and fingers never act alone. They stay within the rally framework. Legs drive the waist, waist drives the arm. Same here. Legs first, then waist, then the forearm naturally opens slightly in sequence. In a regular rally, you're mostly redirecting the ball, borrowing force. But to add spin, remember, all rotation, all friction must be actively created. So why does the forearm open slightly while borrowing force? It creates space, and time to actively generate friction. When you open the forearm, just naturally grip through the ball. Don't deliberately flip the wrist in an exaggerated way. Just open slightly, you feel it subjectively, but objectively the movement is barely visible. Let me demonstrate the standard. See, same framework, just slightly open. Now there's another very important point, a common mistake many players make. Many people think friction means pushing the wrist forward to rub the ball. That's wrong. Pushing forward means you have no breaking point. Even if you squeeze at the end, the spin will be insufficient. You won't feel like you're gripping the ball tightly. Let me demonstrate the common mistake. Opening the forearm, then pushing forward through the ball. That's just passive, inertial friction, not an active grab.
其实这个球更多的像一种推着摩擦，是一种惯性摩擦啊，它不是主动去抓。所以说我们
The
摩擦的
direction of
方向
friction
很
is
重要。咱们
crucial.
在
Once you've opened the forearm correctly, don't continue forward, that's inertial friction. After opening, feel like you're rubbing inward toward your body. It's a sensation of grabbing from outside to inside.
往身体里面摩擦的感觉，对，往身体就是说从外往里抓的这种感觉。
Let me demonstrate grab from outside to inside. Outside to inside. Now here's a training tip. Many players always try to hit every ball deep to the opponent's baseline. That's fine normally, but to strengthen your friction feel, try this method. Loop the ball as short as possible on the other side of the table. The higher the arc and shorter the landing, the better. Why? What does that prove?
教大家一个方法，就是你拉到对面的桌子，尽量的把球拉得越短越好。哎，这个弧线越高越好，证明是什么？
Only by pulling inward enough, friction directed inward, can you truly grip the ball tightly. Only sufficient inward motion keeps the arc short, and only sufficient friction creates a higher arc. So use this exaggerated drill to develop your feel for grabbing the ball with friction. Let me show you the feeling. I'm landing the ball on the opponent's half of the table while keeping the arc high. I hope through this series of points you can develop that friction sensation.
对，我把球，哎，收的就是到对面桌子的半台，然后把弧线抓高一点。对，那么希望大家通过这个孙教练刚刚的一系列的
Through this explanation and the common errors I've shown you, inertial friction, the forearm dropping down or pulling outward, exaggerated wrist flipping, consciously remind yourself to check for these mistakes. If you avoid them, it's actually simple. Use your existing rally framework. Open the forearm slightly backward. Then when creating friction, direct your force from outside to inside. Once you nail that direction, you've got it.
咱们就可以很简单的啊，按照咱们对攻的框架以后，只需要前臂往后打开，然后摩擦的时候呢，从外往里发力这个方向拿捏了以后，最主要
One more crucial point, feel the ball dwelling on the rubber as long as possible. Don't just tap it off. Listen to the contact sound. It should be thin, pure rubber friction with no hard collision against the sponge and blade. We're generating spin purely through the rubber surface. I hope this quick drive lesson helps you understand and begin mastering how to actively create spin.
我们就是纯靠胶皮去纯摩擦。对，那么也希望大家通过这一节快带课，去初步的了解跟掌握如何去制造旋转。